Ferrari had the speed to fight for the podium in Hungary. Lewis Hamilton had qualified second before his grid penalty. Charles Leclerc was still close to the top three. The car was finally competitive. Then the entire weekend slipped away. Traffic, strategy, and execution turned Ferrari's strongest opportunity into fourth and fifth place, while McLaren once again controlled the moments that mattered most. Hamilton left frustrated because the car was not the problem. Ferrari had the pace. Ferrari had the opportunity. And somehow they still lost control of the race. But the most damaging mistake happened before the result was even clear. And once it happened, neither Hamilton nor Leclerc had a real way back. Subscribe to the channel. Editor. To understand why Hamilton left Hungary so frustrated, we have to go back to the moment when Ferrari looked like it finally had control. Friday changed the entire mood. Hamilton finished first in the second practice session. Leclerc finished second. A Ferrari 1-2 on a circuit where confidence can disappear in a single corner. This was not just a strong headline. The Hungaroring is narrow, technical, and difficult to master. The corners arrive quickly. One mistake can damage the next section. One moment of hesitation can destroy an entire lap. And because overtaking is so difficult, starting position matters more here than it does at many other circuits. That made Ferrari's pace impossible to ignore. The car looked balanced. The front responded. The rear looked calmer. Hamilton and Leclerc could push without constantly correcting the car. For once, Ferrari did not look like a team searching for answers. It looked like a team that had already found them. The high downforce package appeared to suit Budapest. In simple terms, the car seemed able to create the grip needed through slow and medium speed corners. Think of running across a slippery floor. You may have the strength to move quickly, but without grip, that strength means nothing. Ferrari finally looked connected to the track. The car turned when the drivers asked it to turn. It remained more stable when they applied power. And that stability created confidence. Confidence creates commitment. Commitment creates lap time. That was why Hamilton's pace mattered so much. He was not simply surviving the circuit. He was attacking it. Leclerc was doing the same. When both drivers feel comfortable at the same time, that tells the team something important. The car is not only fast in one perfect moment. It may have entered a wider operating window. That means the drivers have more freedom. They can adjust. They can push. They can recover from small changes in temperature, traffic, or tire condition. And suddenly, Ferrari was not thinking only about points. A front row start looked possible. A podium looked realistic. Even a fight at the very front no longer felt impossible. But Fred Vasseur remained careful. He recognized that the car was well balanced, yet he also warned that Friday would not decide the weekend. Saturday would matter more. Sunday would matter most. At the time, that sounded like normal caution. By the end of the weekend, it sounded like a warning Ferrari had failed to escape. Because practice pace can be misleading. Fuel levels can differ. Engine settings can differ. Traffic can destroy a lap. A red flag can interrupt the longer runs before the team understands the true race pace. Ferrari had seen enough to feel confident. But it had not seen everything. And that uncertainty was more dangerous than it first appeared. A car can be exceptional for one lap with fresh tires and a lighter fuel load. Then the race begins. The fuel changes the balance. The tires heat up. The grip moves away from the driver. The same car that felt sharp on Saturday can become difficult on Sunday. It is the difference between sprinting across a room and running several miles. Speed over a few seconds does not always survive over a long distance. Ferrari knew Hamilton and Leclerc had qualifying pace. What the team still needed to prove was whether that pace could survive the full race. And that made track position even more valuable. At the Hungaroring, starting near the front gives a driver control. There is cleaner air. There are fewer cars ahead. There is less danger of becoming trapped. The driver can focus on attacking instead of reacting. The team can choose its own strategy instead of copying someone else. Hamilton understood that. Ferrari understood that. And when qualifying arrived, the opportunity was still alive. Hamilton produced the lap the team needed. He qualified second. For a brief moment, Ferrari had exactly what it wanted. A fast car, a confident driver, a front row position, a clear path toward the podium. Then the stewards intervened. Hamilton was judged to have unnecessarily impeded Oscar Piastri during the final part of qualifying. The punishment was 3 grid positions. Second became 5th. At another circuit that might have been manageable. In Hungary, it changed the entire race. Hamilton did not only lose 3 places. He lost clean air. He lost strategic freedom. He lost the ability to attack the leader from the opening lap. And most importantly, he lost control. Every car ahead became another obstacle. Another driver could slow him through the corners. Another team could stop early and force Ferrari to react. Another battle could overheat the tires. Another lap in traffic could erase the speed Ferrari had worked all weekend to create. The penalty did not make the car slower. It made the car's speed much harder to use. That was the cruel part. Ferrari had finally found a package that appeared competitive. Hamilton had delivered a front row lap. The opportunity was already there. And before Sunday had even begun, the entire weekend had been pushed onto a far more dangerous path. But the penalty was only the beginning. Because once Hamilton started fifth, one problem immediately created another. And that was when Ferrari's race began to slip away in ways that raw pace could no longer fix. Editor. Starting fifth changed Hamilton's race before the lights even went out. From the front row, he could have attacked immediately. He could have used clean air. He could have protected the tires. He could have forced the cars behind to react to Ferrari. From fifth, everything was reversed. Now Hamilton had traffic ahead, disturbed air around him, and fewer ways to use the speed Ferrari had found. That matters more at the Hungaroring than almost anywhere else. When one car follows another closely, the airflow becomes unstable. And when both cars require different answers, every decision becomes more complicated. A stop for one driver can affect the space available to the other. A defensive move can limit an attacking opportunity. A delayed call can protect one position while exposing another. Ferrari had two competitive cars. But it did not have one simple race. It had two moving problems connected by traffic, tires, and the decisions of McLaren. That is where the pressure increased. McLaren did not need a massive pace advantage. It only needed to remain in control. The cars ahead could manage their tires. They could monitor Ferrari. They could respond to a pit stop. They could force Ferrari to make the first uncertain move. That sounds like a small advantage. It was not. Imagine playing a card game when your opponent waits to see your choice before making theirs. You may have strong cards. You may understand the game. But every move gives them more information. Ferrari had the speed. McLaren had the position. And position gave McLaren options. The longer the race continued, the more valuable those options became. Hamilton could push, but pushing in traffic carried a cost. The tires worked harder. The car became more difficult to control. The chance of a clean attack became smaller. Leclerc could remain close to the podium, but staying close was not enough. Ferrari needed a moment that changed the order. A pit stop at exactly the right time. A gap in traffic. A rival making a mistake. Something had to open the race. It never opened enough. And this is where the frustration began to build. Hamilton knew the car was not slow. He had felt the pace on Friday. He had delivered second place in qualifying before the penalty. He knew what the Ferrari could do in clean conditions. But Sunday was no longer giving him those conditions. The speed was still inside the car. The race was preventing him from using it. That is one of the hardest situations for a driver to accept. When the car is clearly weak, the explanation is simple. The team needs more performance. When the car is competitive, every lost opportunity feels avoidable. Could the traffic have been escaped earlier? Could the strategy have created more space? Could the timing have been different? Could the team have reacted faster? Each question creates another one, and every answer points back to the same uncomfortable truth. Ferrari had entered Hungary with enough pace to fight for more than fourth and fifth. But the team never regained the control it lost before the race began. Leclerc eventually finished fourth. Hamilton finished fifth. Those positions looked respectable. They did not reflect the full opportunity. That is what made the result so painful. Ferrari was not watching the podium from far away. It was close enough to believe it belonged there. The difference was not a huge technical gap. It was the ability to execute when the race became complicated. McLaren handled those moments more effectively. Ferrari did not. That distinction matters. Formula One is not won by speed alone. It is won by combining speed with timing, communication, tire management, and track position. One weak link can damage everything around it. A lower starting position creates traffic. Traffic increases tire stress. Tire stress limits strategy. Limited strategy gives the rival more control. And more control allows the rival to protect the result. Nothing happened alone. Every problem fed the next one. By the time Ferrari needed a final response, the race had already been shaped by all the decisions that came before. That is why Hamilton's frustration carried so much weight. He was not leaving Hungary after a weekend without hope. He was leaving after a weekend where hope had been real. The car had worked. The pace had appeared. The front row had been there. Then the opportunity disappeared in stages. First came the penalty, then came the traffic, then came the loss of strategic freedom, then came the growing advantage for the cars already ahead. No single moment looked large enough to explain everything. Together they decided the race. That is often how the most painful defeats happen. Not with smoke, not with a broken engine, not with one dramatic collapse. They happen quietly. A position lost here, a lap delayed there, a tire pushed slightly too hard, a rival reacting a little faster. By the time the final result appears, the race has already been lost in pieces. Ferrari did not suddenly become slow. Ferrari slowly became trapped. And once that happened, the speed that had looked so powerful on Friday could no longer rescue Sunday. But there was one more reason this result mattered. The car's performance in Hungary may have been genuine. The warning was that it may also have been highly specific to this circuit. And if weekends like this were going to be rare, Ferrari had just wasted one of its best chances.